welcome you to tonight's performance of A Man for All Seasons, a play by Robert Bolt. Lighting design is Pradeep Belavadi. Original music composed specially for this production, Evie and Clay Kelton. Set design, Jairam and Pradeep Belavadi. Costumes, Arjun Sajnani and Sankirti Aipanjiguli. Direction, Arjun Sajnani. The play is presented in 2 acts. There will be a 15-minute intermission between acts. Running time for the play with intermission is 2 hours, 20 minutes. We would appreciate it if all mobiles were turned to the silent mode during the performance. Thank you.
It is perverse to start a play made up of kings and cardinals in speaking costumes and intellectuals with embroidered mouths with me. Now, if a king or a cardinal had done the prologue, he'd have had the right materials. An intellectual would have shown enough majestic meanings and colored propositions and closely woven liturgical stuff to dress the House of Lords. But this? Is this a costume? Does this say anything? It barely covers one man's nakedness. A bit of black cloth to reduce old Adam to the common man. Oh, if they'd let me come on naked, I could have shown you something of my own, which would have told you without words that oh, something I'd forgotten. Old Adam's all muffled up. Well, anyway, for a proposition of my own, I need a costume. Matthew, the household steward of Sir Thomas More. There's company to dinner. All right, a common man, a 16th century butler. All right, the 16th century is the century of the common man, as indeed are all centuries. And that's my proposition.
No, 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 no.
That's Sir Thomas More.
The wine, please, Matthew.
Oh, it's over there, Sir Thomas.
Is it good?
Bless you, sir, I don't know.
Bless you too, Matthew.
But every man has his price.
No, no, no.
Master Richard Rich.
But yes, in money too.
No.
Or pleasure, titles, money, bricks and mortar, there's always something.
Childish.
While in suffering, certainly.
Buy a man with suffering?
Impose suffering and offer him escape.
Oh, for a moment I thought you were being profound.
Good evening, Matthew.
Oh, good evening, sir.
No, not a bit profound. It then becomes a purely practical question of how to make him suffer sufficiently.
And who recommended you to read Signor Machiavelli? No, who?
Master Cromwell.
Oh, he's a very able man.
And so he is.
Yes, I say he is. He's very able.
And he will do something for me, he says.
I didn't know you knew him.
Pardon me, Sir Thomas, but how much do you know about me?
Whatever you've let me know.
I've let you know everything.
Richard, You should go back to Cambridge. You're deteriorating.
Well, I'm not used. Do you know how much I have to show for 7 months' work?
Work?
Work. Waiting's work when you wait as I wait. Hard. For 7 months, that's 200 days. I have to show the acquaintance of the Cardinal's outer doorman, the indifference of the Cardinal's inner doorman, and the Cardinal's Chamberlain's hand in my chest. Also, 1/2 of a good morning delivered at 50 paces by the Duke of Norfolk. Doubtless he mistook me for someone.
He was very affable at dinner.
Oh, everyone's affable here. Also, of course, the friendship of Sir Thomas More. Or should I say, acquaintance?
Say friendship.
Well, there, a friend of Sir Thomas More and still no office? There must be something wrong with him.
I thought we said friendship. The Dean of St. Paul's offers you a post with a house, a servant, and £50 a year.
What? What post?
At the new school.
A teacher.
Richard, a man should go where he won't be tempted. Look, Richard, see this. Look,
Beautiful.
Italian. Do you want it?
Why?
No joke. It's yours. Keep it or sell it.
Well, thank you, of course. Thank
You'll
you.
Sell it, won't you?
Yes, I will.
And buy what?
Some decent clothes.
Ah.
I want a gown like yours.
You'll get several gowns for that, I should think. It was sent to me a little while ago by some woman. Now she's put a lawsuit into the Court of Requests. It's a bribe, Richard.
Oh, so you give it away, of course,
Yes.
to me.
Well, I don't want it, and you need it, of course, if you feel it's contaminated.
No, I'll risk it.
Richard, in office they offer you all sorts of things. I was once offered an entire village with a mill, a manor house, and heaven knows what else. A coat of arms, I shouldn't be surprised. Why not be a teacher? You'd be a good teacher, perhaps even a great one.
And if I was, who would know that?
You, your pupils, your friends, God. Not a bad public, that. Oh, and a quiet life.
You say that.
Richard, I was commanded into office. It was inflicted on me. Can't you believe that?
It's hard.
Oh, be a teacher.
It was magnificent! The Duke of Norfolk, Earl Marshal of England.
Alice, I tell you, he stooped from the clouds.
Lady Alice, my master's wife.
I tell you, he stooped.
He did.
He did.
He couldn't.
He does.
Not possible.
But often.
Never.
Well, damn my soul.
Come down, Meg.
Lady Margaret, my master's daughter. Lovely. Really lovely.
Matthew, get about your business.
Yes, my lady.
We'll settle this, my lord. We'll put it to Thomas. Thomas, no falcon could stoop from a cloud now, could it?
I don't know, my dear. It sounds unlikely, though I have seen falcons do some very splendid things.
But how could he stoop from a cloud? He couldn't see where he was going.
You see, Alice, you're ignorant of the subject. A real falcon don't care where he's going. Thank you, Thomas. Anyway, I'm talking to Meg. 'Twas the very first cast of the day, Meg. The sun was behind us, and from side to side of the valley, like the roof of a tent, was solid mist.
Oh, mist.
Well, mist is cloud, isn't it?
No.
The opinion of Aristotle is that mist is an exhalation of
He
the
fell
earth.
500 feet like that, like an act of God, isn't he, Thomas?
He's tremendous.
Tremendous.
Did he kill the heron?
Oh, the heron was clever. 'Twas a royal stoop, though. If you could ride, Alice, I'd show you.
I can ride, my lord.
No, you'll make yourself ill.
And I'll bet 25. No, 30 shillings. I see no falcon stoop from no cloud.
Done.
Alice, you can't ride with them.
God's body, Thomas. Remember who you are. Am I a city wife?
No, indeed, but I think you've just lost 30 shillings. There are such birds. And the heron got home to its chicks, Meg, so everything was satisfactory.
Yes.
What was that about Aristotle, Richard?
Nothing, Sir Thomas. 'Twas out of place.
I've never found much use in Aristotle myself. Not practically. Great philosopher, of course. Wonderful mind.
Exactly, Your Grace.
Eh?
Master Rich is newly converted to the doctrines of Machiavelli.
No.
Oh, the Italian nasty book from what I hear.
Very practical, Your Grace.
You read it? Amazing girl, Thomas. But where will you find a husband for her?
Where indeed?
The doctrines of Machiavelli are largely mistaken, I think. Indeed, properly apprehended, he has no doctrine. Master Cromwell has the sense
You
of it,
know
I think.
Cromwell?
Slightly, Your Grace.
The Cardinal's secretary.
Never.
The
It can't
Cardinals,
be.
it's impossible.
Not possible.
It's a fact.
When, Howard?
2-3 days.
A farrier's son?
Well, the Cardinal's a butcher's son, isn't he?
It'll be up quick and down quick with Master Cromwell.
Did you know this?
No.
Do you like Master Cromwell, Master Rich?
He's the only man in London if he does.
I think I do, Lady Alice.
Good. Well, you don't need my help now.
Sir Thomas, if only you knew how much rather I'd yours than his.
Speak of the Cardinal's secretary, and the Cardinal appears. He wants me now.
At this time of the night?
The king's business.
The Queen's business.
More than likely, Alice, more than likely.
What time is it?
11 o'clock, sir.
Is there a boat?
Waiting, sir.
Now you'll go to bed. You'll excuse me, Your Grace. Richard. You'll go to bed.
Dear
Dear
Lord,
Lord, give us rest tonight, or if we must be wakeful, cheerful, careful only for our soul's salvation. For Christ's sake, Amen. And bless our Lord, the King.
Bless our Lord the King.
Amen.
Howard, are you in Richmond?
No, down the river.
Good night. Oh, Your Grace, here is a young man desperate for employment. Something in the clerical line?
Well, if you recommend him.
No, I don't recommend him, but I point him out. He's at the new inn. Can you take him there?
All right, come on.
My lord.
We'll hawk at Hounslow, Alice.
Anywhere you like.
Sir Thomas, thank you.
Be a teacher. Alice! The ground's hard at Hounslow.
Eh? That's where the Cardinal crushed his bum.
Good night.
Good night.
Good night.
Margaret,
Yes, Father.
go to bed.
Yes.
A.
What? It's a gift. Sir Thomas gave it to me. He gave it to me.
Well, that's a very fine present, sir.
Good evening, Matthew.
Sir Thomas has taken quite a fancy to you, sir.
Here.
Yes, thank you. That one will come to nothing. My master, Thomas More, would give anything to anyone. Now, some say that's good. Some say that's bad. I say that he can't help it. And that's bad. Because someday, someone is going to ask him for something that he's going to want to keep. And he'll be out of practice. There must be something he wants to keep. It's only common sense, don't you think?
It's 1:30. Where have you been?
1 o'clock, Your Grace. I've been on the river.
Since you seem so violently opposed to the dispatch for Rome, I thought you might want to look it over
Thank you, Your Grace.
before it goes.
Your Grace is very kind. Thank you.
Well, Sir Thomas, what do you think?
It seems very well phrased, Your Grace.
Devil it does. And apart from the style, Sir Thomas?
It's addressed to Cardinal Campeggio.
Yes.
Not to our ambassador.
Our ambassador's a ninny.
Your Grace appointed him.
Yes, I need a ninny in Rome so that I can write to Cardinal Campeggio.
It's devious.
It's a devious situation.
There must be something simple in the middle of it.
Believe you believe that. You're a constant regret to me, Thomas. If you could just see facts flat on without that horrible moral squint, and with that little common sense, you could have been a statesman.
Oh, Your Grace flatters me.
Don't frivol. Thomas, are you going to help me?
If Your Grace will be specific.
You're a plodder. Take you all together, Thomas, your scholarship, your experience. What are you? Come here. The king.
Yes.
Where has he been, do you know?
Aye, Your Grace.
Spare me your discretion, Thomas. He's been to play in the mud again.
Indeed.
Indeed, indeed. Are you going to oppose me? He's gone. All right, we'll plot. The king wants a son. What are you going to do about it?
I'm very sure the king needs no advice from me on what to do about it.
Thomas, we're all alone. There's no one here. I give you my word.
I didn't suppose there was, Your Grace.
All right, sit down. Do you favor a change of dynasty, Sir Thomas? Do you think 2 Tudors is sufficient?
For God's sake, Your Grace!
Then I repeat, the king wants a son. What are you going to do about it?
I pray for it daily.
God's death, he means it. That thing out there is at least fertile, Thomas.
But she is not his wife.
No, Catherine's his wife, and she's as barren as a brick. Are you going to pray for a miracle?
There are precedents.
Right. Pray. Pray all you want. But besides prayers, there is effort. My efforts to secure a divorce. Have I your support or have I not?
A dispensation was granted so that the king may marry Queen Catherine for state reasons. Now we are to ask the Pope to dispense with his dispensation also for state reasons.
Don't plod, Thomas. I don't like plodding. Don't make me plod any more than I have to.
Then clearly all we have to do is approach His Holiness and ask him.
I thought we might influence his answer.
Like this?
Like this and in other ways.
I've already expressed my opinion on this.
Then good night. Oh, your conscience is your own affair, but you're a statesman, Thomas. Do you remember the Yorkist wars?
Very clearly.
Let him die without an heir and you shall have them back again. Let him die without an heir and this peace you think so much of will go out like that. Very well then. England needs an heir. Certain measures, perhaps regrettable, perhaps not. There is much in the church that needs reformation, Thomas. All right, regrettable, but necessary in order to secure us an heir. Now, will you explain to me how you, as Lord Councillor, can obstruct these measures for the sake of your own private conscience?
I believe that when statesmen forsake their own private conscience for the sake of their public duties, they lead their country by a short route to chaos. And we shall have my prayers to fall back on.
You'd like that, wouldn't you? To govern the country by prayer.
Yes, I think I should.
I should like to be there when you try. Who will put their neck into this after me, Thomas? You, Tunstall, Suffolk?
Tunstall for me.
Aye, but for the king. What about my secretary, Master Cromwell?
Cromwell?
You'd rather do it yourself?
Me rather than Cromwell?
Then come down to earth, Thomas. And while you do, remember, you have an enemy.
Where, Your Grace?
Here.
As Your Grace pleases.
As God wills.
Perhaps, Your Grace.
More, you should have been a cleric.
Like yourself, Your Grace. Boat! Boat!
Here, sir.
Boat!
Boat here, sir.
A boatman, please.
Coming, sir.
Boat!
Here, sir. Boatman. Boatman.
Boatman,
Yes, sir.
take me home.
Oh, I was just going home myself, sir.
And find me another boat.
Oh, that's all right, sir. I expect you'll make it worth me while.
Boatman, have you a license?
Hey, bless you, sir. I do have a license.
Then you know the fares are fixed. Why, it's Sir Thomas.
Good morning, Master Cromwell. You work very late.
I'm on my way to the Cardinal.
Ah, yes, you are to be felicitated. Good morning, Master Secretary.
Yes,
If it is felicity to be busy in the night,
it is.
felicitations then.
You have just left him, I think.
Yes, I have.
You have left him in his laughing mood, I hope.
On the whole, I would say not laughing.
Oh, I'm sorry. I am one of your multitudinous admirers, Sir Thomas. A penny halfpenny to Chelsea, boatman.
The coming man, they say, sir.
Do they?
Yes.
Well, where's your boat?
Oh, just along the wharf, sir.
Sir Thomas More!
Ah, Senor Chapuis. You work very late, Your Excellency.
So does the Cardinal, Sir Thomas.
He sleeps very little.
You have just left him, I think.
You are correctly informed, as always.
I will not ask you the subject of your conversation.
No, of course not.
Sir Thomas, I will be plain with you. Plain, that is, so far as diplomatic decency permits. My Master Charles, the King of Spain, feels himself concerned with any matters concerning his blood relations. He would feel himself insulted by any insult to his mother's sister. I refer, of course, to Queen Catherine. The King of Spain would feel himself insulted by any insult to Queen Catherine.
His feelings would be natural.
Sir Thomas, may I ask if you and the Cardinal parted, how shall I put it, amicably?
Amicably, yes.
In agreement?
Amicably.
Say no more. I understand.
I hope you do, Your Excellency.
You are a good man.
I don't see how you deduce that from what I just told you.
Sir Thomas, a nod is as good as a wink to a blind horse. I understand. You are a good man. Dominus vobiscum.
Spiritu tuo.
Most people think boats stay afloat on their own, sir. But they don't. They cost money. Now, for a small boat like mine, sir, take anchor rope. It's a penny a fathom.
I'll pay you what I always pay you. The river looks very black tonight. They say it's silting up. Is that so?
No, sir, there's a channel there in the middle getting deeper all the time.
Well, how's your wife?
Oh, losing her shape, sir. Losing it fast.
So are we all.
Yes, sir. It's common.
Take me home.
Right this way, sir. From Richmond to Chelsea, it's a penny halfpenny. From Chelsea to Richmond, it's a penny halfpenny. From Richmond to Chelsea, it's a quiet float downstream. From Chelsea to Richmond, it's a hard pull upstream. And it's a penny halfpenny either way. Whoever makes these regulations doesn't row a boat, sir. Home again.
Matthew.
Sir Thomas.
Is Lady Alice in bed?
Yes, sir.
Lady Margaret?
No, sir. Master Roper's here.
At this hour? Who let him in?
He's a hard man to keep out, sir.
All right, where are they?
Here, Father.
Thank you, Matthew. Good morning, William. It's a little early for breakfast.
I haven't come for breakfast, sir.
Will wants to marry me, Father.
Well, he can't marry you.
Sir Thomas, I'm to be called to the bar.
Oh, congratulations, Roper.
My family may not be at the palace, sir, but in the city
The
we are...
Ropers were advocates when the Moors were selling pewter. There's nothing wrong with your family. There's nothing wrong with your fortune. There's nothing wrong with you, except you need a clock.
I can buy a clock, sir.
Roper, the answer is no. And will be no so long as you're a heretic.
That's a word I don't like, Sir Thomas.
It's not a likable word. It's not a likable thing.
The church is heretical. Dr. Luther's proved that to my satisfaction.
Luther is an excommunicate.
From a heretic church. Church? It's a shop. Forgiveness by the florin, jobs lots now in Germany, and divorces.
Divorces?
Oh, half England's buzzing with that.
Half England? The Inns of Court may be buzzing. England doesn't buzz so easily.
It will. And is that a church? Is that a cardinal? Is that a pope? Or Antichrist?
William, please.
Look, what I know I'll say.
You've no sense of the place.
There's no sense of the time.
I was just...
Roper, 2 years ago you were a passionate churchman. Now you're a passionate Lutheran. We can only pray that when your head's finished turning, your face is to the front again.
Don't lengthen your prayers with me, sir.
Oh, one more or less. Is your horse here?
No, I walked.
Take a horse from the stables and get back home. Go on now.
May I come again?
Yes, soon.
Good night, sir.
Is that final, Father?
As long as he's a heretic, Meg, it's absolute. Nice boy. Terribly strong principles, though. I thought I told you to go to bed.
Yes, why?
Because I intended you to go to bed. You're very pensive.
You're very gay. Father, did the Cardinal talk about the divorce?
You know, I think we've been on the wrong track with William. There's no use arguing with the Roper.
Father, did he?
Old Roper was exactly the same. Now let him think he's going with the current and he'll turn around and start swimming in the opposite direction. What we want is a substantial attack on the church.
We're going to get it, aren't we?
Margaret, I'll not have you talk treason, and I'll not have you repeat lawyer's gossip. I'm a lawyer myself, and I know what it's worth.
Thomas!
See what you've done!
Roper! Young Roper! I've just seen him on my horse!
He'll bring it back, dear. He's been to see Margaret.
Oh, why don't you beat that girl?
No, she's full of education, and it's a delicate commodity.
And more's the pity.
Yes, but it's there now, and think what it cost.
Margaret, hot water.
Sorry you awakened, chick.
I wasn't sleeping very deeply. Thomas, what did Wolsey want?
Young Roper asked me for Margaret.
What? Impudence!
Yes, wasn't it?
Old fox. What did he want, Thomas?
He wanted me to read a dispatch.
Is that all?
A Latin dispatch.
Oh. And you don't want to talk about it?
No.
Norfolk was speaking for you as Chancellor before he left.
He's a dangerous friend, then. Wolsey's Chancellor, God help him. We don't want another.
Father?
I don't want this.
Drink it, Thomas. Great men get colds just the same as commoners.
That's dangerous leveling talk, Alice. Beware of the tower.
Drink it.
I'll drink it. I'll drink it in bed.
Father, would you want to be Chancellor?
No.
That's what I said, but Norfolk said if Wolsey fell...
If Wolsey fell, the splash would swamp a few small boats like ours. There'll be no new chancellors while Wolsey lives.
Whether we follow tradition in ascribing Wolsey's death to a broken heart, or accept Professor Larkham's less feeling diagnosis of pulmonary pneumonia, its effective cause was the king's displeasure. He died in Leicester on 29 November 1530 while on his way to the Tower under charge of high treason. England's next Lord Chancellor was Sir Thomas More, a scholar and, by popular repute, a saint. Scholarship is supported by his writings. Saintliness is a quality less easy to establish. But from his willful indifference to realities that were obvious to more ordinary contemporaries, it seemed all too probable that he had it.
Rich!
Master Cromwell,
What brings you to Hampton?
I came with the Duke last night. They're hunting again.
It's a kingly pastime, Master Rich. I'm glad you found employment. You're the Duke's secretary, are you not?
My work is mostly secretarial.
Is it his librarian you are?
I do help His Grace with the library, yes.
Well, that's something. And I don't suppose you're bothered much by His Grace in the library. It's odd how differently men's fortunes flow. My late master Wolsey died in disgrace, and here I am in the king's own service. There you are, in a comparative backwater. Yet the new Lord Chancellor's an old friend of yours.
He isn't really my friend.
Oh, I thought he was.
In a sense, he is.
Well, I always understood he set you up in life.
He recommended me to the Duke.
Ah, yes. Are you very attached to His Grace's library, or would you be free to accept an office?
Have you offices in gift?
I am listened to by those who have.
Master Cromwell, what exactly is it that you do for the king?
I should like to know that too, Master Cromwell.
Ah, Signor Chapuis. You've met His Excellency Rich, the Spanish ambassador, the Duke of Norfolk's librarian.
And how should we introduce you, Master Cromwell, if we had the happiness?
Sly. You notice how sly he is, Rich? Well, I suppose you would call me the king's ear. It's a useful organ, the ear. But in fact, it's even simpler than that. When the king wants something done, I do it.
Ah, then why all those chancellors, justices, admirals?
Oh, they are the Constitution, our ancient English Constitution. I merely do things.
For example, Master Cromwell.
Oh, beware these professional diplomats. Well now, for example, next week at Deptford, we'll be launching the Great Harry. 1,000 tons, 66 guns, 4 masts, an overall length of 175 feet. It's expected to be very effective. All this you probably know. However, what you might not know is that the king himself will guide her down the river. Yes, the king himself will be her pilot. He will have assistance, of course, but he himself will be her pilot. He will have a pilot's whistle upon which he will blow and in every respect wear a common pilot's uniform, except the material, which will be cloth of gold. These innocent fancies require far more preparation than you might suppose, and someone has to do them. Meanwhile, I do prepare myself for higher things. I stock my mind.
Alas, Master Cromwell, don't we all? This ship, for instance, it has 56 guns, not 66, and only 40 of them heavy. I understand that after the launching, the king will take his barge to Chelsea.
Yes?
To?
Sir Thomas More's.
Will you be there?
Oh, no. They will talk about the divorce. The king will ask him for an answer.
He has given his answer.
The king will ask him for another.
Sir Thomas is a good son of the church.
Sir Thomas is a man.
Oh, isn't that his steward now?
Yes, I believe it is. Good day, Your Excellency.
Good day, Master Cromwell.
Good day.
Sir, Sir Thomas doesn't talk about it to anyone, sir. He doesn't talk about it to his wife, sir.
This is worth nothing.
But, sir, he doesn't talk about it to Lady Margaret. That's his daughter, sir.
So?
So that means he's worried, sir. Terrified. Sir, he goes white whenever it's mentioned.
All right.
Thank you. Sir!
Are you coming in my direction, Rich?
No.
I think you should, you know.
I can't tell you anything.
Steward. Well?
Sir Thomas rises at 6 every morning, sir, and prays for an hour and a half.
Yes.
During Lent, sir, he survived only on bread and water.
Yes.
He goes to confession twice a week, sir. Parish priest Dominican.
Ah, he is a good son of the church.
That he is, sir.
What did Master Cromwell want?
Oh, same as you, sir.
No man can serve two masters, steward.
Oh, indeed, sir. I serve only one.
Good, simple man. Here. Peace be unto you.
And you, sir.
The Lord watch over you.
And you, sir. That's a very religious man.
Matthew! What did Senor Cipuis want?
I've no idea, sir.
What did you tell him?
I told him that Sir Thomas says his prayers and goes to confession every week, sir.
Why that?
Because that's what he wanted to know, sir. I could have told him any number of things about Sir Thomas. That he has rheumatism, that he prefers red wine over white, that he's fond of kippers, afraid of drowning, gets seasick. But that's what he wanted to know, sir.
What did he tell you?
He said that Sir Thomas is a good son of the church, sir.
Well, that's true, isn't it?
Well, I'm only telling you what he... sir! Master Cromwell went that way.
Did I ask you which way Master Cromwell went?
The great thing is not to get out of your depth. What I can tell them is common knowledge. But now they've given money for it, and everyone wants value for their money. So now they'll make it a secret, just to prove they've not been built. They'll make it a secret by making it dangerous. When I can't touch the bottom, I'll go deaf, blind, and dumb. And that's more than I earn in a fortnight.
No sign of him, my lord.
God's body, Alice, he must be found.
He must be here in the house.
He's not in the house, Mother.
Then he must be here in the garden.
He takes things too far, Alice.
Do I not know it?
It will end badly for him.
I know that too.
Where's your master?
Matthew, where's my father?
Sir Thomas?
Oh, my God.
Oh, Jesus.
My lady, the king.
Yes, fool, and if the king arrives and the chancellor's not here...
Sir, my lady, it's not my fault that I don't know when to...
Lady Alice, Thomas will get no good of it. This is not how Wolsey made himself great.
Thomas has his own way of doing things, my lord.
Yes, Thomas is unique, but where is Thomas?
Thomas!
My Lord Chancellor, what sort of fooling is this? Does the king visit you every day?
No, but I go to Vespers most days.
Well, he's here.
But isn't this visit meant to be a surprise?
For you, yes, but not for him.
Father.
Yes, do you propose to greet the king dressed as a parish clerk? A parish clerk, my Lord Chancellor. You dishonour the king and his office.
The service of God is not a dishonour to any office.
Thomas.
Believe me, my friend, I do not belittle the honour His Majesty is doing me. That's a lovely dress, Alice. Oh, so's that, Margaret.
Thomas!
I'm a dowdy bird, aren't I?
Still.
Calm yourself, Alice. We're all ready now.
By God, you can be harebrained.
Your second best stocking.
What whim possessed you?
'Twas not a whim.
Father.
No.
Enough's enough.
Haven't you done? Majesty does my house more honor than I fear my household can bear.
No ceremony, Thomas, no ceremony. A passing fancy. I happen to be on the river. Look, mud.
We do it in better style, Your Grace, when we come by the road.
Oh, the road. There's the road for me, Thomas. The river. My river. By heaven, what an evening. Lady Alice, I fear we come upon you unexpectedly.
Oh, no, Your Grace. That is to say, yes. But we are ready for you. Ready to entertain Your Grace, that is.
This is my daughter Margaret, sire. She has not had the honor of meeting Your Grace.
Why? Margaret. They told me you were a scholar.
Answer, Margaret.
Among women, I pass for one, Your Grace.
Antiquone modo Latin lecoris and Oxionensi.
Quem me doqua pater domine.
Bene. Optimus est. Good. That is the best. And has your father taught you Greek too?
Not my father, sire. My father's friend, John Colette, Dean of St. Paul's. But it is with the Greek as it is with the Latin. The skill of the master is lost in the pupil's lack of it.
Oh, take care, Thomas. Too much learning is a weariness of the flesh, and there is no end to the making of books. Can you dance too?
Not well, Your Grace.
Well, I dance superlatively. Now that is a dancer's leg, Margaret. But mind, I can wrestle too. Hey, Norfolk.
Your Grace.
Can you wrestle?
I, Your Grace.
Yeah, but I can throw him. Shall I show them how?
No, Your Grace.
You are gentle. That is good. You shall read to me.
But, Your Grace,
No, you shall read to me. Lady Alice, the river's given me an appetite.
If Your Grace would share a very simple supper.
It would please me to. I'm something of a scholar too, Margaret. Did you know?
all the world knows Your Grace's book, asserting the 7 sacraments of the Church.
Ah, yes. But between ourselves, your father had a hand in that, eh, Thomas?
Here and there, Your Grace, in a minor capacity.
Ha ha! He seeks to shame me with his modesty. On second thoughts, we'll follow Lady Alice. Thomas and I will follow. Wait. Margaret, are you fond of music?
Yes, Your Grace.
Blow.
Your Grace.
Blow. Louder. I brought them with me, Lady Alice. Take them in. Listen to this, Thomas. Do you know it?
No, Your Grace.
I launched a ship today, Thomas.
Yes, Your Grace.
Listen, man, listen. The great Harry. I steered her, Thomas, under sail.
You have many accomplishments, Your Grace.
A great experience. A great experience, Thomas.
Yes, Your Grace.
I am a fool.
How so, Your Grace?
What else but a fool? To live in a court, in a licentious mob, when I have friends with gardens.
Your Grace is very kind.
No courtship, no ceremony. Be seated, Thomas. You are my friend, are you not?
Your Majesty.
Thank God I have a friend for my Chancellor. Readier to be friends, I trust, than he was to be Chancellor.
My own knowledge of my poor...
I will judge of your abilities, Thomas. Did you know Wolsey named you for Chancellor?
Wolsey?
Aye, before he died. Wolsey named you, and Wolsey was no fool.
He was a statesman of incomparable ability, Your Grace.
Was he? Was he so? Then why did he fail me? Be seated. It was villainy then. Yes, villainy. I was right to break him. He was all pride. A proud man, Thomas, pride right through. And he failed me. He failed me in the one thing that mattered, in the one thing that matters then or now. And why? He wanted to be Pope. Yes, he wanted to be Bishop of Rome. I'll tell you something, Thomas, and you can check this for yourself. It was never merry in England while we had cardinals amongst us. But look now. I shall forget the feel of that great tiller under my hand. I took her down to Doggett's Bank, went about, and brought her up in Tilbury Roads. A man could sail clean round the world in that ship.
Some men could, Your Grace.
Touching this matter of my divorce, Thomas, have you thought about it since we last talked?
Little else.
Then you see your way clear to me.
That you should put away Queen Catherine, sire? Oh, alas, as I think of it, I see so clearly that I cannot come with Your Grace, that my endeavor is not to think of it at all.
Then you have not thought enough! Great God, Thomas, why do you hold out against me in the desire of my heart? The very wick of my heart.
Here is my right arm. Take your dagger and saw it from my shoulder, and I shall laugh and be thankful if by that means I can come with Your Grace with a clear conscience.
I know it, Thomas, I know.
I crave pardon if I offend.
Speak then.
When I took the Great Seal, Your Majesty promised not to pursue me on this matter.
Ha! So I break my word, Master Moore. No, I'm joking. I joke roughly. I often think I'm a rough fellow. Yes, a rough young fellow. That's a rosebay. We have one like it at Hampton. Not so red as that, though. Ha! I'm in an excellent frame of mind. Beautiful. You must consider, Thomas, that I stand in peril of my soul. It was no marriage. She was my brother's widow. Leviticus, thou shalt not uncover the nakedness of thy brother's wife. Leviticus, chapter 18, verse 16.
Yes, Your Grace, but Deuteronomy...
Deuteronomy is ambiguous.
Your Grace, I am not fit to meddle in these matters. For me, it seems a matter for the Holy See.
Thomas, does a man need a pope to tell him he's sinned? It was a sin, Thomas. I admit it. I repent. And God has punished me. I have no son. Son after son she has borne me, Thomas, all dead at birth or dead within the month. I never saw the hand of God so clear in anything. I have a daughter. She's a good child, a well-set child. But I have no son. It is my bounden duty to put away the Queen, and all the popes back to St. Peter shall not come between me and my duty. How is it that you cannot see? Everyone else does.
Then why does Your Grace need my poor support?
Because you are honest. What's more to the purpose, you're known to be honest. There are those like Norfolk who follow me because I wear the crown. And there are those like Master Cromwell who follow me because they are jackals with sharp teeth and I am their lion. And there is a mass that follows me because it follows anything that moves. And there is you.
I am sick to think how much I must displease Your Grace.
No, I respect your sincerity, Thomas. Respect? Oh, man, that's water in the desert. How did you like our music? The little air they played. It had a certain... Tell me what you thought of it.
Could it have been Your Grace's own?
Discovered. Now, I'll never know your true opinion, and that's irksome, Thomas, for we are artists, and though we love praise, yet we love truth better.
Then I will tell Your Grace truly what I thought of it.
Speak then.
To me it seemed delightful.
Thomas, I chose the right man for Chancellor.
I must in fairness add that my taste in music is reputedly deplorable.
No. Your taste in music is excellent. It exactly coincides with my own. Music. Send them back without me, Thomas. I will live here in Chelsea and make music.
My house is at your Grace's disposal.
You understand me, Thomas. We will live here together and make music.
Will your Grace honor my roof after dinner?
Yes. I expect I'll bellow for you.
My wife would be more than happy, your Grace.
Yes. Touching this other business, mark you, Thomas, I will have no opposition.
Your Grace.
No opposition, I say, no opposition. Your conscience is your own affair, but you are my chancellor. There, you have my word. I'll leave you out of it. But I don't take it kindly, Thomas, and I will have no opposition. I see how it will be. The bishops will oppose me. The full-fed, hypocritical princes of the church. Ha! And as for the Pope, am I to burn in hell because the Bishop of Rome, with the King of Spain's knife to his throat, marks me Deuteronomy? Hypocrites! They're all hypocrites. Mind they don't take you in, Thomas. Lie low if you will. But I will brook no opposition, no noise, no words, no letters, no signs, no pamphlets. Mind that, Thomas. No writings against me.
Your Grace is unjust. I am your Grace's loyal minister. If I cannot serve your Grace in this great matter of the Queen...
I have no queen! Catherine is not my wife, and no priest can make her so. And they that say she is my wife are not only liars, but traitors. Mind it, Thomas.
Am I a babbler, your Grace?
You are stubborn. And yet, if you could come with me, you are the man I would soonest raise. Yes, with my own hand.
Oh, your Grace overwhelms me.
What's that?
8 o'clock, your Grace.
Oh, lift yourself up, man. Have I not promised? Shall we eat?
If your Grace pleases, what will your Grace sing for us?
8 o'clock, you said. Thomas, the tide will be changing. I was forgetting the tide. I'd better go.
I'm sorry, your Grace.
I must catch the tide, or I'll not get back to Richmond. Don't come. Tell Norfolk. Oh, Lady Alice. I must go. The tide will be changing. I was forgetting in your haven here how time flows by outside. Affairs call me to court. So I give you my thanks and say good night.
Good night, Your Grace. What's this? You crossed him.
Somewhat.
Why?
I couldn't find the other way.
You're altogether too nice, Thomas.
Woman, mind your house.
I am minding my house.
Alice, what would you want me to do?
Be ruled. If you can't rule him, be ruled.
I neither could nor would rule my king. But there is a little area where I must rule myself. It's very little, less to him than a tennis court. Look, it's 8 o'clock. At 8 o'clock, Lady Anne likes to dance.
Oh.
I think so.
And you stand between them?
Aye. What stands between them is a sacrament of the church. I'm less important than you think, Alice.
Stay friends with him, Thomas.
Whatever can be done by smiling, you may rely upon me to do.
You don't know how to flatter.
Oh, I flatter very well. My recipe is being widely copied. It's just the basic syrup with a soupçon of discreet impudence.
I wish he had eaten here with us.
Yes, we shall be living off that simple supper of yours for a fortnight. Alice, set your mind at rest. This is not the stuff martyrs are made of.
Sir Thomas!
Oh, no.
Will Roper, what do you want?
I told you not to.
I'm not so easily told,
I
Meg.
asked you not to.
Meg, I'm full to hear.
It's not convenient, Will.
Must everything be made convenient? I'm not a convenient man, Meg. I've got an inconvenient conscience.
Joshua's trumpet. One note of that brass conscience of yours and my daughter's walls are down.
You raised her, sir.
How long have you been here? Are you in the king's party?
No, sir. I'm not in the king's party. It's of that I wish to speak to you. My spirit is perturbed.
It is, Will. Why?
I've been offered a seat in the next parliament. Ought I to take it?
No. Well, that depends. With your views on church reform, I think you could do yourself a lot of good in the next parliament.
My views on the church, I must Since last we met, my views have somewhat modified. I modify nothing concerning the body of the church. The money changers in the temple must be scourged from within, with a scourge of fire if that is needed. But an attack on the church herself? No. I see behind that an attack on God.
Roper!
The devil's
Roper!
work, to be done by the devil's ministers.
For God's sake, remember my office!
Oh, if you stand on your office.
I don't stand on it, but there are certain things I may not hear.
Sophistication. It is what I was told. The court has corrupted you, Sir Thomas. You are not the man you were. You've learned to study your convenience. You've learned to flatter.
There, you see, Alice? I have a reputation for it.
God's body, young man. If I was the Chancellor, I would have you whipped.
Master Rich is here, Sir Thomas.
Oh, Richard.
Good evening, sir. Good evening, Lady Alice, Lady Margaret.
Good evening, Master Rich.
Do you know William Roper, the younger?
By reputation, of course.
Good evening, Master.
Rich.
Oh. Oh.
You have heard of me?
Yes.
In what connection? I don't know what you can have heard. I sense that I'm not welcome here.
Why, Richard, have you done something that should make you not welcome?
Why? Do you suspect me of it?
I shall begin to.
Master Cromwell is asking questions about you particularly. He's continually collecting information about you.
I know it. Stay a moment, Matthew.
That's one of his sources.
Of course, that's one of my servants.
Chapuis, the Spanish ambassador.
Collects information too. That's one of his functions.
You look at me as though I were an enemy.
Why, Richard? You're shaking.
I'm adrift. Help me.
How?
Employ me.
No.
Employ me.
No.
I would be steadfast.
Richard, you couldn't answer for yourself even so far as tonight.
Arrest him.
Yes.
What for?
He's dangerous.
For libel, he's a spy.
He is. Arrest him.
Father, that man's bad.
There's no law against that.
There is God's law.
And God can arrest him.
Sophistication upon sophistication.
No, sheer simplicity. The law, Roper, the law. I know what's legal, not what's right, and I'll stick to what's legal.
Then you set man's law above God.
No, far below, but let me point out a fact. I am not God. The currents and eddies of right and wrong that you seem to find such plain sailing I can't navigate. I'm no voyager. But in the thickets of the law, oh there, I'm a forester. I doubt if there's a man alive who could follow me there, thank God.
And while you talk, he's gone.
And so he should if he was the devil himself until he broke the law.
So now you give the devil benefit of law.
Yes, what would you do, Roper? Cut a great road through the law to get at the devil?
I'd cut down every law in England to do that.
Oh, and when the last law was down and the devil turned round on you, where would you hide, Roper, the laws all being flat? This country is planted thick with laws from coast to coast. Man's laws, not God's. And if you cut them down and you're just the man to do it, do you think you could stand upright in the winds that would blow then? Yes, I would give the devil benefit of law for my own safety's sake.
I have long suspected this. This is the golden calf. The law's your God.
Oh, Roper, you're a fool. God's my God. But sometimes I find him too subtle. I don't know where he is, nor what he wants.
My God wants service to the end and unremitted. Nothing else.
Are you sure that's God? It sounds like Moloch. But indeed, it may be God. But whoever comes hunting for me, Roper, God or devil, will find me hiding in the thickets of the law. And I'll hide my daughter with me, not hoist her up on the mainmast of your sea-going principles. They put about too nimbly.
Oh, that was harsh.
What's happened here?
He can't abide a fool, that's all. Be off.
Hide you? Hide you from what?
He didn't say anything about hiding me, you noticed. I've got too fat to hide, I suppose.
You know he meant us both, Mother.
But from what?
I don't know. I don't know if he knows. He hasn't said one simple, direct word to me ever since this divorce came up. It's not God who's gone subtle, it's him.
Rupert, that was harsh. Your principles are excellent, the very best quality. No, truly, your principles are fine. Now listen, we must make a start on all that food.
Father, can't you be plain with us?
I stand on the wrong side of no statute and no common law. I have not disobeyed my sovereign. I truly believe that no man in England is safer than I am. And I want my supper. We shall need your help, Will. There's an excellent burgundy if your principles permit.
They don't, sir.
We'll have some water with it.
Just the water, sir.
Oh, my poor boy.
Why does Cromwell collect information about you?
I am a prominent figure. Someone somewhere is collecting information about Cromwell. Now, no more shirking. We must make a start. You see, Will, I trust you with my life, but not your principles. You see, we speak of being anchored to our principles. But if the weather turns nasty, you up with an anchor and set it down again where there's less wind and the fishing is better. And look, we say, look, I'm anchored to my principles.
The loyal subject. A pub.
A publican. Oh, he's a deep man, that Sir Thomas More. Deep. Takes a lot of education to get a man as deep as that. And a deep nature to begin with, too. The likes of me can hardly be expected to follow the process of a man like that. Or can we? Well, ready? Ready, sir?
Is this a good place for a conspiracy, innkeeper?
Well, you asked for a private room, sir?
Yes, I want one without too many little dark corners.
I don't understand you, sir. Just the four corners, as you see.
You don't understand me.
That's right, sir.
Do you know who I am?
No, sir.
Don't be too tactful, innkeeper.
I don't understand you, sir.
When the likes of you are too tactful, the likes of me begin to wonder who's the fool.
I just don't understand you, sir.
The master statesman of us all. I don't understand. All right, get out! Come on. Yes, it may be that I am a little intoxicated, but not with alcohol. I have a strong head for that. With success. And who has a strong head for success? None of us gets enough of it, except kings, and they're born drunk.
What success?
Guess.
Collector of revenues for York?
You do keep your ear to the ground, don't you? No.
What then?
Sir Thomas Paget is retiring.
Secretary to the council?
It is astonishing, isn't it?
No, I mean, one sees. It's logical.
No ceremony, no courtship. Be seated, as His Majesty would say. Yes, see how I trust you.
Oh, I would never repeat or report a thing like that.
What kind of thing would you repeat or report?
Nothing said in friendship. May I say friendship?
If you like. Do you believe that? That you wouldn't repeat or report anything, etc.?
Yes.
No, seriously.
Why, yes.
Rich, seriously.
It would depend what I was offered.
Don't say it just to please me.
No, it's true. It would depend what I was offered.
Everyone knows it. Not many people can say it.
There are some things one wouldn't do for anything, surely.
That idea is like these lifelines they have on the embankment. Comforting, but you don't expect to have to use them. Well, congratulations.
On what?
I think you'd make a good collector of revenues for York Diocese.
Is it in your gift?
It will be.
What do I have to do for it?
Nothing. It isn't like that, Rich. There are no rules. With rewards and penalties, so much wickedness purchases so much worldly prospering. Are you sure you're not religious?
Almost sure.
Get sure. No, it's not like that at all. It's much more a matter of convenience, administrative convenience. The normal aim of administration is to keep constant this factor of convenience. And Sir Thomas would agree. Now, normally, when a man wants to change his woman, you let him if it's convenient and prevent him if it's not. Normally, indeed, the matters of so little importance, you leave it to the priests. However, the constant factor is this element of convenience.
Whose convenience?
Ours. And everybody's too. However, in the present instance, the man who wants to change his woman is our sovereign Lord Harry, by the grace of God, the eighth of that name, which is a quaint way of saying that if he wants to change his woman, he will. And that becomes the constant factor. And our job as administrators is to make it as convenient as possible. I say our job on the assumption that you will take this post at York that I've offered you.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
It's a bad sign when people are depressed by their own good fortune.
I'm not depressed.
You look depressed.
I'm lamenting. I've lost my innocence.
You lost that some time ago. If you only just noticed, it can't have been very important to you.
That's true. Why, that's true. It can't.
We experience a sense of release, do we, Master Rich? A certain unfamiliar freshness of the head as of open air.
Collector of revenues for York isn't bad.
Not bad for a start. However, our present Lord Chancellor, there's an innocent man.
And so he is?
Yes, I say he is. However, the trouble is, his innocence is tangled up in this proposition that you can't change your woman without a divorce, and you can't have a divorce unless the Pope says so. And although His Present Holiness is judged even by the most liberal standards, a strikingly corrupt old person, he still has this word Pope attached to him. And from that quite meaningless circumstance, I fear some degree of...
administrative inconvenience.
Just so. This goblet that he gave you, how much was it worth? Come along, Rich. He gave you a silver goblet. How much did you get for it?
50 shillings.
Could you take me to the shop?
Yes.
Where did he get it? It was a gift from a woman, a litigant, wasn't it?
Yes.
Which court? Chancery? No, don't get drunk. Which court was a woman's case?
Court of requests.
There, that wasn't too painful, was it?
No.
That's all there is. And you'll find it easier next time.
What application do they have, these tidbits of information you collect?
None at all. Usually.
But sometimes?
There are these men, upright, steadfast, men who want themselves to be the constant factor in every situation, which of course they can't be. The situation rolls forward in any case.
So what happens?
If they have any sense, they get out of its way.
And if they haven't any sense?
What? None at all. Well, then they're only fit for heaven. But Sir Thomas has plenty of sense. He could be frightened.
Don't forget he's an innocent, Master Cromwell.
I think we'll finish there for tonight. After all, he is the Lord Chancellor.
You wouldn't find him easy to frighten. You've mistaken your man this time. He doesn't know how to be frightened.
Doesn't know how to be frightened. Why? Then he never put his hand in a candle, did he?
You enjoyed it. You enjoyed it.
started early in the year 1530, and it is now the middle of May 1532. 2 years. During that time, a lot of waters flowed under the bridge, and one of the things that's come floating along it is the Church of England, that finest flower of our island, genius for compromise, that system peculiar to these shores, the despair of foreign observers that deflects the torrents of religious passion down the canals of moderation. That's very well put. Typically, this great effect was achieved not by bloodshed, but by a simple act of parliament. Only an unhappy few were found to set themselves against the current of their times, and in so doing to court disaster. For we are dealing with an age less fastidious than our own. Imprisonment without trial and examination under torture were common practice.
Must you wear those clothes, Will?
Yes, I must.
Why?
The time has come for decent men to declare their allegiance.
And what allegiance are those designed to express?
My allegiance to the church.
Well, you look like a Spaniard.
All credit to Spain, then.
You wouldn't last 6 months in Spain. You'd have been burnt alive during your heretic period.
I suppose you have the right to remind me of it. That chain of office that you wear is a degradation.
I've told you, if the bishops in convocation submitted this morning, I'll take it off. It's no degradation. Great men have worn this.
When do you expect to hear from the bishops?
About now. I was promised an immediate message.
I don't see what difference convocation can make. The church is already a wing of the palace, is it not? The king is already its supreme head, is he not?
No.
You are denying the act of supremacy.
No, I'm not. The act states that the king
is supreme head of the church in England.
Is supreme head of the church in England insofar as the law of God allows. How far the law of God does allow it remains a matter of opinion because the act doesn't state it.
A legal quibble.
Call it what you like, but it's there, thank God.
Very well. In your opinion, how far does the law of God allow this?
I'll keep my opinion to myself, Will.
Yes, I'll tell you mine.
Don't! If your opinion's what I think it is, it's high treason, Roper! Will you remember you have a wife now and may have children?
Why must he remember that?
To keep myself discreet.
Then I'd rather you forgot it.
You're either idiots or children.
Or saints, my lord.
Oh, Father, Senor Chapuis has come to see you.
Your Excellency.
Or saints, my lord, saints.
That's it, of course, saints. Roper, turn your head a bit. Yes, I do think I see a faint radiance. You should have told us, Will.
Come, come, my lord, you two at this time are not free from some suspicion of saintliness.
William, the Spanish ambassador is here on business. Do you mind?
No, I protest. No.
He's clearly here on business.
No, really, I protest. Dominus vobiscum filii mei.
Et cum spiritu tuo, excellencies.
And how much longer shall we hear that holy language in these shores?
It isn't holy, Your Excellency, just old.
My lord, I cannot believe you will allow yourself to be associated with the recent actions of King Henry in respect of Queen Catherine.
Subjects are associated with the actions of kings willy-nilly.
But the Lord Chancellor is not an ordinary subject. He bears responsibility for what is done.
Have you considered that what has been done badly might have been done worse with another Chancellor?
Believe me, Sir Thomas, your influence on these policies is much searched for, and where it has been found, it has been praised. But there comes a point, doesn't there?
Yes, there does come such a point.
When the sufferings of one unfortunate lady swell to an open attack on the religion of an entire country, that point has been passed. Beyond that point, my lord, one is not merely compromised, one is in truth corrupted.
What do you want?
Rumor has it that if the church in convocation has submitted to the king, you will resign.
I see. And supposing rumor to be right, would you approve of that?
Approve, applaud, admire.
Why?
Because it would show that one man, and that man known to be temperate, unwilling to go forward with this wickedness.
And that man known to be Chancellor of England too.
Believe me, Sir Thomas, such a signal would be seen.
Signal?
Yes, signal. It would be seen and understood.
By whom?
By half your fellow countrymen. My lord, I have just returned from Yorkshire and Northumberland where I've made a tour.
Have you indeed?
There things are very different. There they are ready.
Ready for what?
Resistance.
Resistance by what means? By force of arms?
We are adjured by St. Paul to don the arms of God if the occasion warrants.
Metaphorical arms, the breastplate of righteousness and the helmet of salvation. Do you mean a metaphorical resistance?
They shall flee the iron weapons, and the bow of steel shall strike them through.
I see.
Sir Thomas, excuse me, sir. His Grace the Duke of Norfolk.
One moment, Roper. I will do this. Thomas.
Oh, I was on the point of leaving, Your Grace. Just a personal call, that's all. I came to borrow a book, but without success. My lord, are you sure you don't have a copy? All right, then. I will leave you. Gentlemen, ladies.
Sir Thomas.
I'll do it, Roper. Convocation's knuckled under, Thomas. They're to pay a fine of £100,000. And we've severed the connection with Rome.
The connection with Rome is nice. The connection with Rome.
Your Grace, this is quite certain, is it?
Yes.
Help me with this.
Not I.
Shall I, sir?
No, thank you, Will. Alice?
Hell's fire, God's blood and body, no. Sun and moon, Master Moore, you're taken for a wise man. Is this wisdom? To betray your ability, abandon practice, forget your duty to your kin, and behave like a printed book?
Margaret, will you?
Yes, Father, if you want.
There's my clever girl.
Well, Thomas, why? Make me understand. Because I'll tell you now, from where I stand, this sounds like cowardice.
All right, I will. This isn't Reformation. This is war against the church. Our King Howard has declared war on the Pope because the Pope will not declare that our Queen is not his wife.
And is she?
I'll answer that question for one person only, the King. Aye, and that in private too.
Man, you're cautious.
Yes, cautious. I'm not one of your hawks.
All right, we're at war with the Pope. The Pope's a prince, isn't he?
He is.
And a bad one.
Bad enough. But the theory is that he's also the vicar of God, the descendant of St. Peter, our only link with Christ.
A tenuous link.
Oh, tenuous enough.
Does this make sense? You'll forfeit everything you've got, which includes the respect of your country, for a theory.
The apostolic succession of the Pope. Why, it's a theory. You can't see it, you can't touch it. It's a theory, but what matters to me is not whether it is true or not, but that I believe it to be true. Or rather, not that I believe it, but that I believe it. I trust I make myself obscure.
Perfectly.
Good, because obscurity is what I have need of now.
Thomas, this isn't Spain, you know.
Have I your word that what we say is between us and has no existence beyond these walls?
Very well.
And if the king should command you to repeat what I have said,
I should keep my word to you.
Then what has become of your oath of obedience to the king?
You lay traps for me.
No, I show you the times.
Why do you insult me with these lawyers' tricks?
Because I am afraid.
And here's your answer. The king accepts your resignation very sadly. He is mindful of your goodness and past loyalty, and in all matters concerning your honor and welfare, he will be your good lord. So much for your fare.
You will convey my humble gratitude.
I will. Good day, Alice. I'd rather deal with you than your husband.
Oh, Howard! Signor Chapuis tells me he's made a tour of the North Country. He thinks we shall have trouble there.
Yes?
So do I.
What kind of trouble?
The church. The old church, not the new one, is very strong up there. I'm serious, Howard. Keep an eye on the border this next spring, and keep in mind the old alliance.
We will. We do. As for the Spaniard, Thomas, it'll perhaps relieve your mind to know that one of Secretary Cromwell's agents made the tour with him.
Oh, Master Cromwell has matters in
He
hand.
has.
I can imagine.
But thanks for the information. It's good to know that you still have some vestige of patriotism.
That is a remarkably stupid observation, Norfolk.
So, there's an end of you. What will you do now? Sit by the fire and make goslings in the ash?
Not at all, Alice. I think I'll write a bit. I'll write, I'll read, I'll think. I think I'll learn to fish. I'll play with my grandchildren when son Roper has done his duty. Alice, shall I teach you to read?
No, by God.
Son Roper, you're pleased with me, I hope?
Sir, you've made a noble gesture.
A gesture? It wasn't possible to continue, Will. I wasn't able to continue. I would if I could. I make no gesture. My God, I hope it's understood that I make no gesture. Alice, You don't think I would do this to you for a gesture? That's a gesture. That's a gesture. I'm no street acrobat to make gestures. I'm practical.
You belittle yourself, sir. This was not practical, this was moral.
Oh, now I understand you, Will. Morality is not practical. It's a gesture, learned from books. A complicated gesture. That's what you say, don't you, Alice? What about you, Margaret?
It is for most of us, Father.
No. If you're going to plead humility... Oh, no, I have a cruel family. Oh.
Yes, you can fit the cap on anyone you want. I know that well enough. If there's cruelty to be found in this house, I know where to look for it.
No, Mother!
You would walk at the bottom of the sea and think yourself a crab if he suggested it. And you dance him to the tower, you dance him to the block. Like David with a harp, scattering hymn books in his path. Poor silly man, do you think they'll leave you here to learn to fish?
If we govern our tongues, they will. Now listen, I have a word to say about this. I have made no statement. I have resigned, that's all. On the king's supremacy, on the divorce he'll now grant himself, on the marriage he'll then make. Have you heard me make a statement?
No. And if I'm to lose my rank and fall to housekeeping, I want to know the reason. So make a statement now.
No! Alice, it's a point of law. Accept it from me, Alice, that in silence lies my safety under the law. But my safety must be absolute. It must extend to you.
In short, you don't trust us.
A man would have to be half-witted not to trust you. But look, I'm Cromwell. I'm the king's head jailer. I'm the Lord Chief Justice, and I take your hand and clamp it on the Bible, the blessed cross, and I say, woman, have you heard your husband make a statement on these matters? Now, on peril of your soul, remember. What is your answer?
No.
And so it must remain. Oh, it's only a lifeline. We shan't have to use it, but it's comforting to her. No, when I'm silent, they'll ask nothing better than to leave me silent, you'll see.
Sir? Sir, the household's in the kitchen, sir. They want to know what's happened.
Oh, yes. We shall have to speak to them. Alice, they'll mostly have to go, my dear, but not before we found them places.
We can't find places for them all.
Yes, we can. Yes, we can. Tell them so.
God's death, it comes upon us quickly.
What about you, Matthew? It'll be a smaller household, and for you, I'm afraid, a smaller wage. Will you stay?
Don't see how I could then, sir.
You're a single man.
Yes, sir, but I do have the...
Of course. Why should you? I shall miss you, Matthew.
Oh, no, sir. You never had much time for me, sir. You see right through me, sir. I know that.
I shall miss you, Matthew. I shall miss you.
Well, damn me. Isn't that them all over? Miss. He. Miss me. What's in me for him to miss? Whoa! I nearly fell for that one, didn't I? Matthew, will you kindly take a cut in your wages for me? No, Sir Thomas, I will not. That's it. And that's all there is to it. All right, so the man's down on his luck, and I'm sorry. I don't mind saying that, I am sorry. Bad luck. If I'd had any good luck to spare, I would have given him some. In fact, I wish we all had good luck all the time. I wish we had wings. I wish rainwater was beer. But it isn't. So what with us having to walk on 2 flat feet, and good luck and bad luck being just exactly even Stevens, and rain being water, don't you complicate the job by putting things in me for me to miss? I nearly fell for it, you know. I nearly did.
No noise, Master Secretary. He's silent. Why not let him stay silent?
Not being a man of letters, Your Grace, you probably don't realize the extent of his reputation. This silence of his is bellowing up and down Europe. Now, allow me to recapitulate. He reported the Spaniards' conversation to you, informed of the Spaniards' tour of the North Country, warned against a possible rebellion there.
He did.
We may say then that he proved himself hostile to the hopes of Spain.
That's what I say.
Now, bear with me, Your Grace. If he opposes Spain, he supports us. Well, surely that follows, or do you see some third alternative?
No, that's the lineup, all right. And I may say Thomas More
Thomas More will line up on the right side.
Yes, crank he may be, but traitor he is not.
And that's with a little pressure he can be got to say so. And that's all we need. A brief declaration of his loyalty to the present administration.
I still say let sleeping dogs lie.
The king does not agree with you.
What kind of pressure do you think you can bring to bear?
I have evidence that Sir Thomas, during the period of his judicature, accepted bribes.
What? God damn it, he did not. He was the only judge since Cato who did not accept bribes. When did we last have a chancellor whose possessions after 3 years in office amounted to £100 and a gold chain?
Richard, it is, as you imply, common practice, but a practice may be common and remain an offence. This offence can send a man to the tower.
I don't believe it.
Richard, you know His Grace, of course.
Yes, we're all friends.
You used to look after my books or something, didn't you?
Come here. This woman's name is Catherine Anger. She comes from Lincoln. She put a case in the court of request.
A property case it was.
Be quiet. A property case in the court of request in April 1526.
And got a wicked false judgment.
And got an impeccably correct judgment from our friend Sir Thomas.
No, sir, it was not.
We are not interested in the judgment, but in the gift that you gave the judge. Now, please tell this gentleman about that. The judgment, for what it was worth, was the correct one.
No, sir. I sent him a cup, sir. An Italian silver cup I bought in Lincoln for 100 shillings.
Did Sir Thomas accept this cup?
I sent it.
He did. We can corroborate that. You can go.
But, sir, my
Go!
Just...
Is that your witness?
No. By some odd coincidence, this cup later came into the hands of Master Rich here.
How?
He gave it to me.
Can you corroborate that?
No, but I have a fellow outside who can. He was more steward at the time. Shall I call him?
No, don't bother. I know him. When did Thomas give you this thing?
I don't exactly remember.
Well, make an effort. Wait, I remember. It was in the spring. It was that night we were there at the house together. You had a cup with you when we left. Was that it?
It may have been.
Did he often give you cups?
I don't think so, Your Grace.
That was it then. And it was April. The April of 26. The very month that cow first put her case before him. In other words, the moment he knew it was a bribe, he got rid of it.
The facts will bear that interpretation, I suppose.
Oh, this is a horse that won't run, Master Secretary.
Just a trial canter, Your Grace. We'll find something better.
Look here, Cromwell! I want no part of this.
You have no choice.
What's that you say?
The king particularly wishes you to be active in this matter.
He's not told me that.
Indeed, he told me.
Why?
We feel that since you are known to have been a friend of More's, your participation in this matter will show that there is nothing in the nature of persecution, only the strict processes of law. I'll tell the king of your loyalty to your friend. If you like, I'll tell him that you want no part of it too.
Are you threatening me, Cromwell?
My dear Norfolk, this isn't Spain.
I'm sorry, Secretary. I'd forgotten he was there that night.
You must try to remember these things.
Secretary, I'm sincere.
Not such a fool as he looks, the Duke.
That would hardly be possible, Secretary.
Sir Thomas is going to be a slippery fish, Richard. We're going to need a net with a finer mesh.
Yes, Secretary.
We'll weave one for him, shall we? You and I?
I'm only anxious to do what is correct, Secretary.
Yes, I know. You're absolutely right. It must be done by law. It's just a matter of finding the right law. Or making one. Bring my papers, will you?
May we have a word now,
We
sir?
don't require you after all, Matthew?
Oh, no, sir. But about the...
Oh, yes. Well, I begin to need a steward, certainly. My household is expanding. But as I remember, Matthew, your attitude to me was sometimes disrespectful.
That's your imagination, sir. You see, sir, in those days you still had your way to make, and a gentleman in those positions often imagines these things. Then when he's reached his proper station in life, sir, he stops thinking about them. Surely, sir, nowadays you don't think that people are being disrespectful to you, do you?
There may be something in that. Bring my papers, will you?
Oh, yes.
I will permit no breath of insolence.
Oh, I should think not. I can handle that one. He's just my size. Sir Thomas More's again. Gone down a bit.
My husband is coming down, Your Excellency.
Thank you, madam.
And I beg you to be gone before he does.
Madam, I have a royal commission to perform.
Aye, you said so.
For sheer barbarity, commend me to a good-hearted Englishwoman of a certain class. Sir Thomas. Oh, Sir Thomas. In a better state, this threadbare stuff will metamorphose to shining garments. These dank walls to walls of pearl, this cold light to perpetual sunshine.
Sounds not unlike Spain, Your Excellency.
Even at this time, even now, a pleasure to converse with you.
Is this another personal visit, Chapuis, or is it official?
It falls between the two, sir.
Official, then.
No, I have a personal letter for you.
From whom?
By Master Charles, the King of Spain. You will take it?
I will not lay a finger on it.
It is in no way a matter of state, my lord. My master expresses his admiration for the stand you have taken in the matter of this divorce, this so-called divorce of Queen Catherine.
I have taken no stand.
But your views, Sir Thomas, are well known.
My views are much guessed at. Oh, come, sir, could you undertake to convince King Harry that this letter is in no way an affair of state?
My dear Sir Thomas, I've taken extreme precautions. I've come here very much incognito, almost in disguise.
Oh, you misunderstand me. It's not a matter of your precautions, but my duty, which would be to take this letter immediately to the king.
But your views, Sir Thomas...
My views are well known, you say. It appears my loyalty to my king is less so.
Oh, render unto Caesar the things which are Caesar's, but unto God...
Stop! Holy writ is holy, Excellency.
Look, Father, Will's bringing more.
Oh, well done. Is it dry? Oh, yes, it is. It's bracken, Your Excellency. We burn it. Alice, see this.
Aye.
Oh, may I? This is a letter from the King of Spain. You will see it has not been opened. I have declined it. You will see that the seal has not been broken. I wish I could ask you to stay, Your Excellency. The bracken fire is a luxury.
One I must forego. May I say, I'm sure my master's admiration will not be diminished.
I'm gratified.
Ladies,
Luxury.
Oh, it's a luxury while it lasts. There's not much sport in it for you, is there? Alice, the money from the bishops, I can't take it. I wish, oh, how I wish I could, but I can't.
I didn't think you would.
Alice, there are reasons.
Could we come so deep into your confidence as to know the reasons why a man in poverty cannot take 4,000 pounds?
Alice, this isn't poverty.
Do you know what we shall eat tonight?
Yes, parsnips.
Yes, parsnips and stinking mutton for a nice lady.
But at the worst, we may be beggars and still keep company and be merry together.
Merry?
Aye, merry.
I think you should take that money, Father.
Oh, don't you see? If I'm paid by the church for my writings...
This has nothing to do with your writings. This was charity pure and simple, collected from the clergy high and low.
It would appear as payment.
You're not a man who deals in appearances.
Oh, am I not, though? If the king takes this any further with me or with the church, it would be very bad if I even appear to have been in the pay of the church.
Bad?
If you will have it, dangerous.
But you don't write against the king.
I write. That is enough in times like these.
But you said there was no danger.
I don't think there is, and I don't want there to be.
There's a gentleman here from Hampton Court. You are to go before Secretary Cromwell to answer certain charges.
Oh, that's all right. We expected it. When?
Now.
Oh.
Alice, that means nothing. It's only technique. Well, I suppose now means now.
Can I come with you?
Why? No. I'll be back for dinner. I'll bring Cromwell to dinner, shall I? It'll serve him right.
Father, don't be witty.
Why not? Wit's what's in question.
While we are witty, the devil may enter us unawares.
He's not the devil, son Roper. He's a lawyer. And my case is watertight.
They say he's a very penetrating lawyer.
What? Cromwell? Pooh, he's a pragmatist. And that, son Rope, is the only resemblance he has to the devil. A pragmatist, the merest plumber.
I'm sorry to invite you here at such short notice, Sir Thomas. Good of you to come. Will you take a seat? I think you know Master Rich.
Indeed, yes. We are old friends. That's a nice gown you have, Richard.
Master Rich will make a record of our conversation.
Good of you to let me know, Master Cromwell.
Believe me, Sir Thomas. Oh, no, that's asking too much. But let me tell you all the same, you have no more sincere admirer than myself. Not yet, Rich, not yet.
If I might hear the charges.
Charges?
I understand there are certain charges.
Some ambiguities of behavior, I should like to clarify, hardly charges.
Make a note of that, will you, Master Rich? There are no charges.
Sir Thomas, it amazes me that you who were once so effective in the world and are now so much retired from it should be opposing yourself to the whole movement of the times.
It amazes me too.
The king is not pleased with you.
I am grieved.
Yet do you know that even now, if you can bring yourself to agree with the parliament of this realm, the bishops, the universities, there is no honor the king would be likely to deny you?
I'm well acquainted with His Grace's generosity.
Very well. Have you heard of the so-called Holy Maid of Kent who was executed for prophesying against the king?
Yes, I knew the poor woman.
You sympathize with her?
She was ignorant and misguided, a bit mad, I think, and she has paid for her folly. Naturally, I sympathize with her.
You admit meeting her. You met her, and yet you did not warn His Majesty of her treason. How was that?
She spoke no treason. Our conversation was not political.
My dear Moore, the woman was notorious. You expect me to believe that?
Happily, there are witnesses.
You wrote a letter to her?
Yes, I wrote advising her to abstain from meddling in the affairs of princes and the state. I have a copy of this letter, also witnessed.
You have been cautious.
I like to keep my affairs regular.
Sir Thomas, there's a more serious charge.
Charge?
For want of a better word. In the May of 1526, the king published a book, a theological work. It was called The Defense of the Seven Sacraments.
Yes, for which he was named Defender of the Faith by His Holiness the Pope.
The Bishop of Rome. Or do you insist on Pope?
No, Bishop of Rome, if you like. It doesn't alter his authority.
Thank you, Sir Thomas. You come to the point very readily. What is that authority? As regards the church in Europe, as regards the church in England, what exactly is the Bishop of Rome's authority?
You will find it very ably set out and defended, Master Secretary, in the King's book.
The book published under the King's name would be more accurate. You wrote that book.
I wrote no part of it.
Oh, I don't mean you actually held the pen.
I merely answered to the best of my ability certain questions on canon law that His Majesty put to me, as I was bound to do.
Do you deny that you instigated it?
It was from first to last the King's own project. This is trivial, Master Secretary.
I should not think so if I were you.
Only two people know the truth of the matter, myself and the King. And whatever he may have said to you, he will not give evidence to support this accusation.
Why not?
Because evidence is given on oath, and he will not perjure himself. If you don't know that, you don't yet know him.
Sir Thomas More, is there anything you wish to say to me regarding the King's marriage with Queen Anne?
I understood I was not to be asked this question again.
Evidently you understood wrongly. These charges...
These are terrors for children, Master Secretary. An empty cupboard. To terrorize children in the dark, not me.
True. True, Sir Thomas. Very apt. To frighten a man, there must be something in the cupboard, must there not?
Yes, and there is nothing in it.
For the moment, there is this. I charge you with great ingratitude. I remind you of the many benefits graciously given and ill received. I tell you that no king of England ever had nor could have so villainous a subject nor traitorous a servant as yourself. The words are not mine, Sir Thomas. They are the King's. Believe that.
I do. I recognize the style. So I'm brought here at last.
Brought? You brought yourself to where you stand now.
Yes. Still, in another sense, I was brought.
And you may go home now. For the present. I don't like him as well as I did. There's a man who raises the gale and won't come out of the harbor.
Do you still think you can frighten him?
Oh, yes.
What will you do?
We'll put something in the cupboard.
What?
Whatever's necessary. The king's a man of conscience, and he wants either Sir Thomas More to bless his marriage or Sir Thomas More destroyed.
They seem odd alternatives, Secretary.
Do they? That's because you're not a man of conscience. If the king destroys a man, that's proof to the king that it must have been a bad man, the kind of man a man of conscience ought to destroy. Anyway, a bad man's blessing's not worth having, so either will do.
I see.
Oh no, there's no turning back, Rich. I find we've made ourselves the keepers of this conscience, and it's ravenous.
Boat! Boat! A boatman, please. Boat. Boat. Well, Howard, I can't get home. They won't bring me a boat.
Do you blame them?
Is it as bad as that?
It's every bit as bad as that.
Then it's good of you to be seen with me.
I followed you.
Were you followed?
Probably. So listen to what I have to say. You're behaving like a fool. You're behaving like a crank. You're not behaving like a gentleman. All right, that means nothing to you. But what about your friends?
What about them?
God damn it, you're dangerous to know.
Then don't know me.
There's something further. You must have realized by now there's a policy with regards to you. The king is using me in it.
Oh, that's clever. That's Cromwell. Howard, you must cease to know me.
I do know you. I wish I didn't, but I do.
I mean as a friend.
You are my friend.
I can't relieve you of your obedience to the king. You must relieve yourself of our friendship. No one is safe now, and you have a son.
You might as well advise a man to change the color of his hair. I'm fond of you, and there it is, and you're fond of me, and there it is.
So what's to be done?
Give in.
Can't give in, Howard. You may as well advise a man to change the color of his eyes. Our friendship is more mutable than that.
Oh, that's immutable, is it? The one fixed point in a world of changing friendships is Thomas More will not give in. Why must you stand out? You'll break my heart.
We'll do it now, Howard. We'll part as friends and meet as strangers.
Daft, Thomas. You say we'll meet as strangers, and every word you say confirms our friendship.
Oh, that can easily be remedied. Norfolk, you're a fool.
You can't place a quarrel. You haven't the style.
Hear me out, my lord. You and your class have given in, as you rightly put it, because the religion of this country means nothing to you one way or another.
Well, that's a foolish saying for a start. The nobility of England have always...
The nobility of England would have snored through the Sermon on the Mount. But you will labor like Thomas Aquinas over a rat dog's pedigree. Now, what's the name of those distorted creatures you're all breeding at the moment?
An artificial quarrel's not a quarrel.
Don't deceive yourself, my lord. We've had a quarrel since the day we met. Our friendship was but slop.
Oh, you can be cruel when you've a mind to be, but I've always known that.
Now, what's the name of those dogs? Bog beagles? Marsh mastiffs?
Water spaniels.
Water spaniels. And what would you do with a spaniel that was afraid of water? You'd hang it. Well, as a spaniel is to water, so is a man to his own self. I will not give in because I oppose it. I do. Not my pride, not my spleen, nor any of my other appetites, but I do. I.
Father.
Is there no single sinew in the midst of this that serves no appetite of Norfolk, but is just Norfolk?
Now, Thomas.
There is. Give that some exercise, my lord.
Father.
Because as you stand, you'll go before your Maker in a very ill condition.
Now, steady, Thomas.
And he'll have to think that somewhere back in your pedigree, a bitch got over the wall.
Ah!
Father! Father, what was that?
That was Norfolk.
Do you know, sir? Have you heard? Have you told him?
We've been looking for you, Father.
There's to be new act through Parliament, sir.
Act?
Yes, sir, about the marriage.
Oh.
Father, by this act, they're going to administer an oath.
An oath? On what compulsion?
It's expected to be treason.
Well, what is the oath?
It's about the marriage, sir.
Well, what is the wording?
We don't need to know the wording. We know what it will mean.
It will mean what the words say. An oath is made up of words. It may be possible to take it or avoid it. Now, have you a copy of the will?
There's one coming out from the city.
Oh, then let us go home and read it. Oh,
Father.
I've no boat.
Father, he tried to hit you.
Yes, I spoke slightingly of water spaniels. Now listen, Meg, and Will, you listen too. You know I know you well. God made the angels for their splendor as he made animals for innocence and plants for their simplicity. But man he made to serve him wittily in the tangle of his mind. Our natural business lies in escaping. So let us go home and study that bill.
Well, I don't suppose anyone enjoyed that any more than he did. Not much more. Jailer. The pay scale being what it is, they have to let a rather common type of man into the prison service. But it's a job. A job like any other job. They'd let him out if they could, but for various reasons they can't. I'd let him out if I could, but I can't. At least not without taking up residence in there myself. And he's already in there, so what would be the point, huh? You remember the old adage, better a live rat than a dead lion? Speaking of dead lions, Thomas Cromwell was found guilty of high treason and was executed on 28th July 1540. Norfolk was found guilty of high treason and should have been executed on 27 January 1547, but on the night of 26 January, the king died of syphilis and was unable to sign the warrant. Thomas Cranmer, the Archbishop of Canterbury, that's the other one, was burnt alive on 21st March 1556. Oh. Richard Rich became a Knight and Solicitor General, a Baron and Lord Chancellor, and died in his bed. So did I. And so I hope will all of you. Wake up, Sir Thomas.
What? Again?
I'm sorry, sir.
What time is it?
1 o'clock, sir.
Oh, this is iniquitous.
Sir.
All right. Who's there?
The Secretary, the Duke, and the Archbishop, sir.
Oh, I'm flattered.
A seat for the prisoner. This is the 7th Commission to inquire into the case of Sir Thomas More, appointed by His Majesty's Council. Have you anything to say?
No.
Master Secretary. Sir Thomas, do the witnesses attend?
Secretary.
Sir.
Come nearer. Come where you can hear. Sir Thomas, have you seen this document before?
Many times.
This is the Act of Succession, and these are the names of those who have sworn to it.
I have, as you say, seen it before.
Will you swear to it?
No.
Thomas, we must know plainly...
Grace, please.
Master Secretary! I beg your Grace's pardon. Thomas, we must know plainly whether you recognize the offspring of Queen Anne as heirs to His Majesty.
The King and Parliament tells me that they are so. Of course I recognize them.
Will you swear that you do?
Yes.
Then why won't you swear to the Act? Because there is more than that in the Act. Is that it?
Yes.
Then we must find out what it is in the Act that he objects to. Brilliant. God's wounds.
Your Grace, may I try?
Certainly. I've no pretensions to be an expert in police work.
Sir Thomas, it states in the preamble that the king's former marriage to the Lady Catherine was unlawful, she being previously his brother's wife, and the Pope having no authority to sanction it. Is that what you deny? Is that what you dispute? Is that what you're not sure of?
Thomas,
You insult the king and his council in the person of the Lord Archbishop.
I insult no one. I will not take the oath. I will not tell you why I will not.
Then your reasons must be treasonable.
Not must be. Maybe.
It's a fair assumption.
The law requires more than an assumption. The law requires a fact.
I cannot judge your legal standing in the case, but until I know the ground of your objections, I can only guess your spiritual standing too.
If you are willing to guess at that, my lord, it should be a small matter to guess my objections.
You do have objections to the act.
Well, we know that, Cromwell.
You don't, my lord. All you know is that I will not take the oath, from sheer delight to give you trouble it might be.
Is it material why you won't?
It's most material. For refusing to swear, my goods are forfeit and I'm sentenced to life imprisonment. If, however, you are right in supposing that I had reasons for refusing, and right again in supposing my reasons to be treasonable, the law would let you cut my head off.
Oh, yes.
Well done, Sir Thomas. I've been trying to make that clear to His Grace here for some time.
Oh, confound all this! I'm not a scholar, as Master Cromwell never tires of pointing out. And frankly, I don't know whether the marriage was lawful or not. But damn it, Thomas, look at those names. You know those men. Can't you do as I did and come with us for fellowship?
And when we stand before God, and you are sent to paradise for doing according to your conscience, and I am damned for not doing according to mine, will you come with me for fellowship?
So those of us whose names are there are damned, Sir Thomas?
I don't know, Your Grace. I have no window to look into another man's conscience. I condemn no one.
Then the matter is capable of question.
Certainly.
But that you owe obedience to your king is not capable of question. So weigh your doubt against a certainty and sign.
Some men think the earth is round. Others think the earth is flat. It's a matter capable of question. But if the earth is round, will the king's command flatten it? No, I will not sign.
Then you have more regard to your own doubt than you have to his command.
For myself, I have no doubt.
No doubt of what?
No doubt for my grounds for refusing to take the oath. Grounds I will tell the king alone, and which you, Master Secretary, will not trick out of me.
Thomas!
Oh, gentlemen, can't I go to bed?
You don't seem to appreciate the seriousness of your position.
I defy anyone to spend a year in that cell and not appreciate the seriousness of their position.
Yet the state has harsher punishments.
You threaten like a dockside bully.
Oh, how should I threaten?
Like a minister of state with justice.
Justice is what you're threatened with.
Then I am not threatened.
Master Secretary, I think the prisoner may retire as he requests. Unless you, my lord.
No, I see no purpose in prolonging the interview.
Then good night, Thomas.
Might I have one or two more books?
You have books?
Yes.
I didn't know. You shouldn't have.
May I see my family?
No. Jailer.
Sir.
Have you ever heard the prisoner speak about the king's divorce, the king's supremacy of the church, or the king's marriage?
No, sir, not a word.
If he does, you will report the matter to the lieutenant.
Of course, sir.
You will swear an oath to that effect?
Certainly, sir.
And there's 50 guineas in it if you do.
Yes, sir.
That's not to tempt you into perjury, my man.
No, sir. 50 guineas isn't tempting. 50 guineas is alarming. If he'd left it at swearing, but 50 guineas, that's serious money. If it's worth that much now, it's worth my neck presently. I want no part of it. They can sort it out between themselves. I feel my deafness coming on.
Rich!
Secretary.
Tomorrow morning, remove the prisoner's books.
Is that necessary?
Norfolk! With regards to this matter, the king is becoming impatient.
Aye, with you.
With all of us. And you know the king's impatience, how commodious it is.
Secretary? Sir Redvers Llewellyn has retired. The Attorney General for Wales, his position is vacant. You said I could approach you.
Not now. He must submit. The alternatives are bad. While More's alive, the king's conscience breaks into fresh stinking flowers every time he gets from bed. If I bring about More's death, I plant my own, I think. There is no other good solution. He must submit! King will not permit it. We must find some gentler way.
Sir Thomas, wake up.
Father?
Your family's here.
Margaret? What's this? You can visit me? Meg, they've not put you in here.
Oh, no, sir. It's just a visit, sir. A short one.
Jailer, let me out of this.
Yes, sir. I'm allowed to let you out, my lady.
Thank you.
Good morning, Father.
Oh, good morning. Morning, Alice. Morning, Will.
Husband, how do you do?
As well as can be, Alice. Very happy now. Will?
This is an awful place.
Except it's keeping me from you, my dears. It's not so bad. It's remarkably like any other place.
It drips.
Yes, too near the river.
We've brought you some things.
Oh.
Some cheese and a
Cheese.
custard and these
Custard.
other things.
And a bottle of wine, sir.
Oh. Is it good, son Roper?
I don't know, sir.
Well?
Sir, come out. Swear to the act. Take the oath and come out.
Is this why they let you come?
Yes. Meg's under oath to persuade you.
That was silly of you, Meg. How did you come to do that?
I wanted to.
You want me to swear to the act of succession?
God more regards the thoughts of the heart than the words of the mouth. Or so you've always told me.
Yes.
Then say the words of the oath, Father, and in your heart think otherwise.
But what is an oath but words we say to God?
That's very neat.
Do you mean it isn't true?
No, it's true. In any state that was half good, you would be raised up high, not here for what you've done already. It's not your fault the state's 3/4 bad. Father, haven't you done as much as God can reasonably want?
So you're content to be here among rats and mice when you might be home with us?
Content? If they open a crack this wide, I'd be through it. Well, has Eve run out of apples?
I've not yet told you what the house is like without you.
Don't, Meg.
What we do in the evenings now that you're not there.
Have done, Meg.
We sit in the dark because we've no candles, and we've no talk because we're wondering what they're doing to you here, Father.
The king is more merciful than you. He doesn't use the rack.
2 minutes to go, sir. I thought you'd like to know.
2 minutes?
Yes, sir. Till 7 o'clock. I'm sorry. 2 minutes.
Jailer! Will, go to him. Talk to him. Keep him occupied.
How, sir?
Anyhow, do you have any money?
Yes.
No, don't try and bribe him. He's got a pair of dice. Let him play you for it. And take this. Mind you share it. Do it properly, Will. Now listen. You must leave the country. All of you must leave the country.
And leave you here?
It makes no difference, Meg. They won't let you see me again. You must all leave on the same day, but not on the same boat. Different boats from different ports.
After the trial, then?
There'll be no trial, Meg. They have no case. Do this for me, I beseech
you. Yes.
Alice? Alice, I command you.
Right.
This is splendid. I know who packed this.
I packed it.
You still make superlative custard, Alice.
Do I?
It's a nice dress you have on.
It's my cooking dress.
It's nice anyway.
My God, you must think very little of me. I know I'm a fool, but I'm no such fool that as to this time be lamenting for my dresses or relish complimenting on my custard.
I am well rebuked. Alice?
No.
Alice, I am faint when I think of the worst they may do to me. But worse than that would be to go with you not understanding why I go.
I don't.
Alice, if you tell me you understand, I think I can make a good death if I have to.
Your death is no good to me.
Alice, you must tell me you
understand. I don't believe this had to happen.
If you say that, Alice, I don't see how I am to face it.
It's the truth.
You're an honest, woman.
Much good it may do me. I'll tell you what I'm afraid of. I'm afraid that after you have gone, I shall hate you for it.
You mustn't, Alice. You mustn't.
As for understanding, I understand that you are the best man I have ever met, or am ever likely to. And if you must go, well, God knows why, I suppose. But as God is my witness, He's kept deadly quiet about it. And if anyone wants my opinion of the king and his council, they only have to ask for it.
Aye, it's a lion I married. A lion. Say what you like, the custard's very good. It's very, very good.
No,
Please.
no, sir. I know what you're trying to do and it's no good. It can't be done.
Another minute, man!
Sir Thomas, the ladies will have to leave now.
For pity's sake!
Don't do that, sir.
You said 7 o'clock.
It's 7 o'clock now, sir. You must understand my position.
1 more minute.
Come on now, my lady. You don't want to get me into trouble. Come on.
Give us the flag.
Are you obstructing me, sir? Come on, miss. You'll get your father into trouble as well as me. And you, my lady.
Get your hands off me!
Am I to call the guard then? Then come on!
Guilty, filthy, gutter-rid turnkey!
Call me what you like, ma'am. You've got to go.
I'll see you suffer for this.
You're doing your husband no good, my lady.
Alice, goodbye, my love.
I'm sorry, sir. But you must understand my position. I'm a plain, simple man. And I just want to keep out of trouble.
Oh, sweet Jesus. These plain, simple men.
Englishmen can behold without awe the canvas and the rigging of the law. Forbidden here the galley master's whip, hearts of oak in the law's great ship. Hey! Where are you going?
I'm done here, sir.
You're the foreman of the jury.
No, sir.
You are John Dauncey, a general dealer?
Yes, sir.
Foreman of the jury. Does the cap fit?
Yes, sir.
So now we'll apply the good plain sailor's art and fix these quicksands in the law's plain chart. Sir Thomas More, you're called before us here at the Hall of Westminster on a charge of high treason. Nevertheless, and although you have heinously wounded his King's Majesty, we hope if even now you will forthink and repent of your obstinate opinion, you may still taste his gracious pardon.
My lord, I thank you. Howbeit I make my petition to Almighty God that he keep me in this, my honest mind, to the last hour that I shall live. I should be glad to sit down.
Be seated. Master Secretary, have you the charge? I have, my lord. That you did traitorously and maliciously conspire to deny and deprive our liege Lord Henry of his undoubted certain title, the supreme head of the Church in England.
But I have never denied this title.
You refused the oath tendered to you at the Tower and elsewhere.
Silence is not denial. And for my silence I have been punished with imprisonment. Why have I been called again?
On a charge of high treason, Sir Thomas, for which the punishment is not imprisonment.
Death comes for us all, my lord. Even for kings he comes, so causing their bodies to be buried in a pit, and sending them to a judgment whereof at their death their success is uncertain.
Treason enough here.
The death of kings is not in question, Sir Thomas.
Nor mine, I trust, until I'm proven guilty.
Thomas, your life lies in your own hands, as it always has.
For our own deaths, my lord, yours and mine, dare we for shame enter the kingdom with ease, when our Lord himself entered with so much pain?
Sir Thomas, you stand upon your silence.
I do.
But, gentlemen of the jury, there are many kinds of silence. Consider first the silence of a man when he's lying dead. What do we hear? Silence. What does this betoken, this silence? Nothing. This is silence, pure and simple. Consider another case. Suppose I were to draw a dagger from my sleeve and make as if to kill the prisoner. And suppose their lordships there, instead of crying out for me to stop or crying out for help to make me stop, maintained their silence. That would betoken. That would betoken a willingness that I should do it. And under the law, they would be guilty with me. So silence can, according to circumstances, speak. Consider now the circumstances of the prisoner's silence. This oath was put to good and faithful subjects up and down the country, and they had declared His Grace's title to be good and just. But when it came to the prisoner, he refused. He calls this silence. Yet is there a man in this court, is there a man in this country who does not know Sir Thomas More's opinion of the king's title? Of course not. How can that be? Because this silence betokened, nay, this silence was not silence at all, but most eloquent denial.
Not so, Master Secretary. The maxim of the law is qui tacet consentire. Silence gives consent. If therefore you wish to construe what my silence betokened, you must construe that I consented, not that I denied.
Is this what the world in fact construes from it? Do you pretend that is what you wish the world to construe from it?
The world must construe according to its wits. This court must construe according to the law. The law is a causeway upon which, so long as he keeps to it, a citizen may walk safely. In matters of conscience, however, the loyal subject is more bounden to be loyal to his conscience than to any other thing.
And so provide a noble motive for his own frivolous self-conceit.
Not true, Master Secretary. Very and pure necessity for respect of my own soul.
Oh, your own self, you mean?
Yes, a man's soul is his self.
A miserable thing, whatever you call it, that lives like a bat in a Sunday school. My lords, I wish to call Sir Richard Rich. Sir Richard.
I do solemnly swear.
I do solemnly swear that the evidence I shall give before the court shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth.
So help me God, Sir Richard.
So help me God.
Take your stand there, Sir Richard.
Now, Rich, on the 12th of March, you were at the Tower.
I was.
With what purpose?
I was sent to carry away the prisoner's books.
Did you talk with the prisoner?
Yes.
What did you say? Did you talk about the king's supremacy of the church?
Yes.
What did you say?
I said to him, supposing there was an act of parliament to say that I, Richard Rich, were king, would not you, Master More, take me for king? That I would, he said, for then you would be king.
Yes?
Then he said,
the prisoner?
Yes, my lord. He said, I will put you a higher case. What if there was an act of parliament to say that God should not be God?
That is true. And then you said...
Silence. Continue.
I said, but I will put you a middle case. Parliament has made our king head of the church. Why will you not accept him?
Well?
Then he said, Parliament had not the power to do it.
Repeat the prisoner's words.
He said Parliament has not the competence or words to that effect.
He denied the title.
He did.
In good faith, Richard. I'm sorrier for your perjury than my peril.
Do you deny this?
Yes! My lords, if I were a man who heeded not the taking of an oath, you know well I need not be here. Now I will take an oath. If what Master Rich says is true, I pray I may never see God in the face, which I would not say were it otherwise for anything on earth.
That is not evidence.
Is it probable? Is it probable that after such a long silence on this, the very matter so urgently sought of me, that I should open my mind to such a man as that?
Do you wish to modify your testimony?
No, Master Secretary.
There were two other men, Southall and Palmer.
Unhappily, Sir Richard Southall and Master Palmer are both in Ireland on the King's business. It has no bearing. I have their deposition here, in which the court will see that they state that being busy with the prisoner's books, they did not hear what was being said.
Is it not obvious that if I had indeed said this, that you would have immediately called these men to witness?
Is there anything else you wish to say?
Nothing, Mr. Secretary.
Sir Thomas.
To what purpose? I am a dead man. You have your desire of me. What you have hunted me for is not for my actions, but the thoughts of my heart. It is a long road you have opened, for first men will disclaim their hearts, and presently they will have no hearts. God help the country whose statesmen walk your path.
Then the witness may withdraw.
I have a question to ask the witness. That is a chain of office you're wearing. May I see it? The Red Dragon. What's this?
Sir Richard Rich is appointed Attorney General for Wales.
For Wales? Why, Richard, it profits a man nothing to give his soul for the whole world, but for Wales.
Now I must ask the court's indulgence. I have a message for the prisoner from the king. Sir Thomas, I'm empowered to tell you that even now...
No, it cannot be.
The case rests.
The jury may retire and consider the evidence.
Considering the evidence, it should not be necessary for them to retire. Is it necessary?
No, sir.
Then is the prisoner guilty or not guilty?
Guilty, my lord.
Prisoner at the bar, you have been found guilty on a charge of high treason. The sentence of this court is to take...
My lord, when I was practicing the law, the manner was to ask the prisoner before passing sentence if he had anything to say.
Have you anything to say?
Yes. To avoid this, I have taken every path my winding wits could find. But now that the court is determined to condemn me, God knoweth how, I shall discharge my mind concerning my indictment and the king's title. The indictment is based in an act of parliament which is directly repugnant to the law of God. The king and parliament cannot bestow the supremacy of the church because it is a spiritual supremacy. And more to this, the immunity of the church is promised both in Magna Carta and in the king's own coronation oath.
Now we plainly see that you are malicious.
Not so, Master Secretary. I am the king's true subject and pray for him and all the realm. I do none harm. I say none harm. I think none harm. And if this be not enough to keep a man alive, then truly I long not to live. So my poor body is at the king's pleasure. Would God my death might do him some good. Nevertheless, it is not for the supremacy that you have sought my blood, but because I would not bend to the marriage.
Prisoner at the bar, you have been found guilty on a charge of high treason. The sentence of this court is to take you from this court to the Tower, and thence to the place of execution. And there your head shall be severed from your body, and may God have mercy on your soul.
Trouble not thyself, death comes for us all, even at our birth. You have long known the secrets of my heart.
Sir Thomas! Remember me, Sir Thomas? When you were Chancellor, you gave a false judgment against me. Remember that now?
Woman, you see how I'm occupied. I remember your matter well, and if I had to pass judgment today, I assure you I should not alter it. You have no injury, so go your way and content yourself, and trouble me not. I beseech your grace, go back. Friend, be not afraid of your office. You send me to God.
You're very sure of that, Sir Thomas.
He will not refuse one who is so blithe to go to him.
Behold the head of a traitor!
I'm breathing. Are you breathing too? It's nice, isn't it? It's not difficult to stay alive, friends. Just don't make trouble. Or if you must make trouble, then make the sort of trouble that won't get you noticed. I don't need to tell you that. Good night. And if we should bump into one another, recognize me.
Ladies and gentlemen, Dominus Vobiscum. There is one other person who had a little bit to do with this production, and I'd like to have you join us in welcoming to the stage the one, and God be praised, the only Arjun Sajnani.